based on indoors, I think the order, if I had to pick right now, I'd have Alfred number 1 with the double collegiate records and where she sits on the all-time list. Now, this is tough, though, because all indoor lists aren't created equal. There's not a ton of indoor 200 competitions taking place, but she did run the second fastest one in history. And when it comes to the 60, there's only 2 women who have run the same time or faster than her. One of them this year, Inalia Hobbs. So the 694 has only been exceeded by 1 person. So I think I would go right now, if I had to, Julien Alfred. But if I'm looking forward to outdoors, it's a weird thing because I think she's the one who is going to be the most threatened to lose.
It's good to lose at 200.
Because I really don't see Tuohy losing. I don't see Jasmine Moore losing. And unless Britton Wilson decides to run the 800 for fun, I think she's going to be fine in the 400 hurdles. I don't think there's anybody close to her in the 400 hurdles. So I think if you're talking about things that could change between now and then, I think Alfred in the 2, not in the 100. I think she's well clear in the 100. However, the upside, she'd get more collegiate records and she could sweep the 1 and the 2, and then we'll be back to where we are right now, which is 4 incredibly qualified nominees.
So these are the resumes, the blind resumes. Person 1, 2 NCAA titles, 3 NCAA records. Person 2, 2 NCAA titles, 2 NCAA records. Person 3, 2 NCAA titles, 2 NCAA records. And person 4, 2 NCAA titles and 3 NCAA records.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, though, the last person I said was Katelyn Tuohy, and I think Katelyn Tuohy right now would be the person on the outside looking in, because I have to go Britton Wilson 1, because I think her 400-meter mark is very impressive, and she also broke the 600-meter collegiate record.
Love it.
Alfred, I'll put 2, because 6,200 is impressive double. Moore, I'll put 3. She's a 15.7.
157.
157, over 15 meters, over 7 meters.
Yeah.
And then Katelyn Tuohy, 4. And I think it's just crazy that Tuohy's going to be 4 because she destroyed the 3K record. She destroyed the mile record. And she easily won 3 into 5. But Tuohy's going to be... I think it's unfair to Tuohy because Tuohy's going to be held against the standard of international...
World performances, yeah.
Performances.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Most of the great female international performance aren't done by college-age students. They're done by people in their...
You talk about distance.
Distance.
Well, it's men, too, not just women.
Yeah, men, too. Yeah. So it's technically easier for sprinters to climb the all-time world rankings as an 18 to 22-year-old than it is for a distance runner, because distance runner's prime is 22 to 26, where a sprinter's prime is probably more like 20 to 25.
Well, okay. But also, at the NCAA level, right, based on who's coming to the NCAA to compete, you're getting a lot of people who are high-caliber sprint performers.
And also, there's no incentive for, say, a guy to go to the NCAA 1500 and run 3:30. Like, why would anyone ever do that? That makes no sense.
In terms of, chasing times. I'm just saying...
You don't try to run 3:30 at NCAAs, but at NCAA 400, you try to run 43 seconds.
Yeah, but I'm saying the U.S. professionally is stronger in terms of depth and breadth in the sprints than they are in the distances.
Yeah.
And the primary country competing in the NCAA system is the United States.
Yes.
So that's why there's a disconnect. And there's also a huge Caribbean population that's competing in the NCAAs, which are very strong in the sprints.
But I go Wilson, Alfred, Moore, Tuohy. That's my ranking.
Yeah, I would probably go... See, the thing with Wilson, for me, is if you're looking at regular season, she ran a bunch of 800s, which I thought was awesome, but it also leaves a bit of a different resume than someone like Julien Alfred, who's just like
60, boom,
well,
boom,
it's
boom.
collegiate record. She could have done that. Now, I, as a matter of just like personal taste, think it's awesome that she ran the 800. In the same way, I thought it was really cool that Anna Hall won the 400 hurdles, second in the 400 hurdles, and then won the heptathlon.
Yeah.
I think it's a unique thing. It shows range. It's awesome, but I think that changed the regular season for her.
They're going to give it to Jasmine Moore.
So with Moore,
she's not going to lose.
The 15 meters is insane, and the 7 meters is really impressive too. If she bumps that long jump up even more in the outdoor season, right, and goes well beyond 7, and starts mixing it up with some farther and farther marks in the long jump, then I think that really changes the conversation. But I would probably have. It's so weird to pick any of these people fourth at this point, but I would probably go. You had what? You had Wilson
Tuohy
one.
Fourth. I had Wilson 1, Alfred 2, Moore 3, Tuohy 4.
Yeah,
but like I low key think though, like I know like I don't think we should compare marks to
the world.
The world.
So just the NCAA.
I don't even think we should compare it to the NCAA. I think we should compare like dominance in the event, and I think that Katelyn Tuohy has been more dominant against her peers than Moore, Alfred, or Wilson have.
Well, that would be the argument, but you have her fourth. So if I think times are going to matter, like it, hate it, times are going to matter, and Tuohy could get more incredible times outdoors. She could break the 10K record.
Yeah,
she could go and break a bunch more collegiate records. No one plans their season around winning the Bowerman.
Also, when's the last time a over 800 meter runner has won the Bowerman? A mile or up person has won the Bowerman.
Let me look.
I think the last time it's happened was like Cam Levins.
It wasn't Ches?
Ches. There hasn't been a distance runner who has won the Bowerman like ever.
Oh, you're right.
They never. It's all 800 meters and down.
Wow.
Yeah. So who's the last person? It's Cam.
2012. You're a Bowerman historian.
2012.
And then Rupp won the first one.
And Rupp and Jenny.
Yeah.
And I guarantee when Rupp and Jenny won the first one, they're probably like, oh, Bowerman, it's distance bias. And they're trying to like overcompensate for the distance bias. But how many Bowerman winners have been total? How many years?
Since 2009.
So how many is that?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
So 13 times 2. So 26 Bowerman, and 3 of them have been distance runners. That seems a little...
Well, you're taking out the 800. If you included the 800...
800's not a distance race.
Well, you got to put in...
800's not a distance
That's just because you ran the 800. You don't want to be associated with distance runners. But I, as a distance runner, consider you one of us.
800's a sprint. Because they all run the 4x4. They're all 400-meter runners. I think Mo is not a distance
Raven
runner.
Rogers. Okay.
Do you think...
Okay, I get your point. I get your point. I'm not arguing with you. I think, as I was saying before, nobody plans their season around winning the Bowerman. No one sits in an office with their coach and says, how could you do it? But if they did do it, depending on your event, there's a specific strategy that you could employ in order to win it. And if you are a distance runner, you know what advantage you have? Is you have a lot of races, like a lot of records that you could tackle. Now, you have to be a distance runner with a ton of range, but you could go 15, 5, 10, and then indoors you can go 15 or mile 3 and 5.
Yeah, and then throw in a steeple.
Well, that would just be incredible if someone did that. I'm putting that. I'm saying someone. But
that's what Ches did, and he never won.
I can't. So you're saying he never won the Bowerman, Edward Cheserek?
I'm just saying.
But someone like
if Ches can't win, there'll. In my lifetime, I think there's never going to be a distance runner who wins a Bowerman.
I think,
which is sad.
That's such a stupid thing to say, but okay.
Will you make a bet with me that there won't be a? I want to make a 10-year bet with you. There will not be a distance runner.
Yes, there will be. There will be.
I disagree.
So but it's tough to have 15 to 10,000 range. But Tuohy has it. Jenny had it. I think if she wanted to, she could have grabbed every record that she ran. She obviously did the steeple too. That's a specific strategy for a distance runner. Now, for some of these other athletes, then you got to tailor your strategy for what your strengths are. If you throw the javelin, you basically have to do Cameron Rogers, kind of what she did with a hammer, and just try to get as many top 10 marks as possible, get the collegiate record.
It's
easier
unfair.
Said than done.
I think they need to stop doing this with like the more the merrier, because like giving people who can do multiple events is unfair. And people who can do relays and counting that towards their pedigree is unfair.
Yeah.
And I think it just needs to be who has just like been the dominant athlete.
But and see, all four of them have been dominant. The margins that Julien Alfred winning by in the 60, that's what dominance looks like.
But when you watch
in a 60,
but no one ever thought. Yes, after the fact, she runs a really fast 200, but no one is thinking Alfred is like the dominant 200-meter runner.
You just got done talking about how doubles, that shouldn't matter. But in the 60, she was dominant. I think, listen, you can get upset about this now, and that's fine. I'm not going to stop you from getting upset. But the good news is we have outdoors. So we have a whole other regular season and a championship where new stuff is going to happen. And I think we're not going to get to June after NCAA outdoors and have this same logjam.
Yes, we will.
There's a much bigger chance of one of the four getting an upset or something happening than a fifth person moving up.
No, yeah. I'm just saying, like, I think that there will be an obvious. I think maybe one of these four does find a way to lose and then makes an obvious top three. I'm just going to the whole. We've had 26 winners. We're about to have 27th and 28 winners.
Yeah.
And only 3 are distance runners.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you that there should have been more distance runners. I'm just talking about for this year. There's a strong argument for all four. I would have Alfred in front right now, but the season's not over, thankfully.
It just feels like there should be, if there's, say, 2 years from now, we'll have a total of 30 award winners, right?
Yeah.
10 of them should be sprinters, 10 of them should be field event runners, and 10 of them should be distance runners. But it's not going to be that. It's going to be 3 distance runners and a lot of other people.
Your Ches thing, you realize that everybody was onto your Ches thing, so now it's just morphed into a distance runners thing.
Yeah, because it shows that Ches was the ultimate distance runner. He did the most impressive thing, but even Ches couldn't convince the voters. Then nothing's going to happen because we're not going to have another Ches. That's just not going to happen. Tuohy's the next closest thing. We're going to get to that. Mm-hmm. But Tuohy's now just going to be like, oh, yeah, that's cute, but you need to run 350 in the 1500 for us to care about what you're doing. I'm sorry, but there's no world where 21, how old is Katelyn Tuohy? 21? Where 21-year-old Katelyn Tuohy is going to go out there and run a 352 1500. Mm-hmm. That would actually be not in her best interest to try to do that. Mm-hmm. It's in her best interest to try to win easily and then try to make teams. It's not in her best interest to run 352 1500.
Right, but all I'm saying is we know that, but that doesn't take away from the other 3 women that are running so well. And I think we've had 2 years in a row now where the women, like there was a 3 to 4 person group that was just insanely good. If it was a situation how he's on the men's side right now, you'd see someone. If someone doubled, let me just say this: if someone
Katelyn Tuohy was in the men's type field, she would probably.
Yeah, because you're putting for the men, you're putting Moussaoui in there, who was great, but he didn't break a bunch of collegiate records throughout the season. Right, and that could happen. These things are cyclical. That could happen.
But we did have a Katelyn Tuohy in the men's side. It was Ches, and then they said, like, well, Jerry and Lawson, he won the 100 in 10.8 seconds.
He didn't run 10.8. But, okay, what's the world where, who won it last year? Trey Cunningham for the men? Yeah. What's the world, though, where Abdihamid Nur tears it up outdoors and has an outdoor season like he had an indoor season? I think he could have won it. There's no reason why he couldn't.
I just think every time a distance runner does well, there's always something.
Look at you
in their way.
Get in the back of distance runners. There's always something in their way. Yeah, everybody's good. I don't know what to tell you. You're surprised?
Yeah, for the record, Wilson, very deserving. Alfred, extremely deserving. Moore, absolutely deserving. I just think Tuohy's deserving as well.
Yeah. No, I thought it was funny.
I think they need to atone for their sins of Chesrek and let Tuohy kind of like, if they want me to stop talking about Ches, you just give the award to Tuohy. That will make up for the evil sin of not giving it to him 3 years in a row.
I just enjoyed it after NCAA indoors, after every race. Whenever all these women won, it was just locked up the Bowerman. It's all done. It's curtains. And I thought, well, wait, now you want to give it to them? What about all these other people who are running? A lot of people had blinders on. Oh, this American record counts, but that American record doesn't, or this collegiate record means more than this collegiate record, and what about this mark and that mark? And because if you look at dominance too, again, a distance runner is not going to compete as many times as a sprinter usually, and they're not going to. But like, look at Moore in the field events.